Welcome back to compARTE Happy Hour from Diamante Arts and Cultural Center. Today is the first show of 2021, and we have a very special guest, somebody that I think will be appropriate for everything that is going on in our times with the pandemic and change in political atmosphere and so and such. He is a pianist and composer. He plays multiple instruments. He has performed all over the place, all over the world. And his music is a soothing, a healing type of music. My guest today is Alejandro Santoyo. Welcome, Alejandro.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here with you, and hi to everybody.
Can you tell me what is your heritage? How did you become a pianist? What drives Alejandro?
The love for music, I guess, and the love for feeling good and for feeling inside, your heart, your soul. This is what drives. I dream music and I look for it, and what I'm trying to, like Mozart said, at my own level, I'm trying to put together the notes that love each other. So that's harmony. When you find harmony in music and sound, for me, there's a reason the word harmony is a beautiful word, because it means it's kind of like, something that just fits perfect. There's harmony, it blends, it flows, there's synchronicity. And when you have that, you have peace. It's a feeling like, and so that's what I look for in music. And I tie music to life. For me, the ultimate goal that we should all have is to look to be in peace, right? At the end, for me, that's because you can't buy peace with anything. It's something that you have to arrive and you have to earn, and you have to work for it. That's the way I see it. So I share this with people. I share this through my music. I talk about this in my concerts, and all my albums. I have 6 albums. The latest one is I just released Reflections, which came out inspired by the pandemic and all this. But the 6 albums have that intention of giving well-being, of elevating, and even the titles of the albums and the songs. So the first one's called Elevation, which is elevate us through the music and all that entails. And then came New World, and in New World, I'm hoping for a new world, a new way of interacting with each other, of perceiving, of of forgiving, of working together. That whole idea, I've been talking about that since that. And then the third album is Embrace, which is let's all embrace, let's all hug each other, and let's build a better world together. I've been talking about this since the beginning, right? And so on and so forth. Now Reflections, that's just the kind of answer where I come from.
When you come from musically, what about culturally? What is your cultural background?
Yeah, I'm multicultural. I'm Hispanic. I mean, it goes back. I guess we're like many of us Latinos in this, in America, in this world where many of us we're a blend of many cultures. I haven't gone back to see exactly where. I know my grandparents from both sides came from Spain, Valencia in Spain, and yeah, Barcelona, and like places like that. And then from my mother's side, they came to Colombia, and then from Colombia to America. And so my mom was born and raised, she's second generation. My grandpa from New York City, but from that heritage. I was born in South Bend, Indiana. And then I lived many years in Mexico City, which is a very rich city. It's like New York City, but crazy. It's a very rich, wonderful city culturally. Flavors, the food has all these things, right? So, So pretty much I'd spent, I don't know, probably half of my life in Mexico City, half of my life here. So all that comes into play with my music. It's all, that's how it works. It all translates. And because since I was a kid, I've been listening to classical music. My mom was an opera singer, like avid, opera buff. And so I've been listening to classical music since I was a kid. But then being a newer generation, so, pop music, and I was part of a, children's, pop boys band when I was a kid. And so pop music, then rock and roll, all these kind of things.
So what band, I'm curious, what band was it?
No, this was in Mexico City. It was a famous band by then, the biggest TV network there. It was called Microchips. There were these famous, there was Timbiriche, Parchis, the Spanish group, and there was Microchips. And so I was a microchip.
Qué chévere.
Yeah. We would dance, we'd be on TV every week. We would just give concerts all over. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Were you a musician or were you a singer?
No, musician. We were all musicians. And we all played and sang. And there were the lead singers, but we all had instruments. And then the rest of us did back, around voices. Yeah, and so
I got
you. It was like a boys band.
Awesome.
It was really cool, and so I love all music. I love pop music. Katy Perry's Fireworks song and that kind of pop. It's like I love it. It's just so right. But my music is very, when it comes to the piano, I'm always, like I was mentioning, I'm looking for that harmony, for that, and harmony is something that fits. So if I play this, that's sound. But is that harmony? In my understanding, the way I feel, no, harmony is this. Versus this. Right? So I'm looking for it because these notes. In my mind, all those notes love each other.
And they do sound like they love each other. What was the name of that?
Yeah, that's kind of like so I think.
What was the name of that composition?
So this one is Tenderness. This one's in my latest album, Reflections, and
it sounds tender. It does sound tender.
I dedicated it to my mother, right?
Oh.
Mothers, mothers are one of the most special for all of us, right? Nothing like our moms or
sure.
And it's like the ultimate tenderness. So yeah, that's looking for that, because when I play that, when we say, I think absolutely everything comes from God. Like our lives, everything comes, the flowers and music. And in my case, I think what God gave me is a deep love for music, right? Gives us all different things. And so that's the way I understand it, because I'm always looking, I love to, when I dream music and it comes, I don't know where it comes from. For me, it comes from God, like everything, like inspiration. And I'm looking for that. It's just, it brings a smile to my face, because it's just this, And so, and then my what I mostly want is to share that with the world, and to contribute in any way I can to well-being.
Absolutely. Do you ever use music for healing purposes, like going to hospitals or going to rehab centers and playing for them, just for that healing that you feel the music transcends?
No, I haven't done it directly. I do it indirectly, but I haven't done it directly like that. But it's obviously that's a great idea, and it's just that I tried to do it once, and I was also busy between traveling, And it's also not that easy to go play for a hospital. There are many requirements, and you have to go through and steps, and so it's not that easy. Because I'm not, I would just boom, take off and just go and just play in the piano, and like here at Duke Hospital, they have a beautiful grand piano, and to go there and just play, and I know it would, yeah, I would help out that way. But so maybe
folks,
I'll somehow happen after COVID, right?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Santoyo lives in Durham
Yes.
because we're being watched across North Carolina and hopefully beyond. But yeah, he lives in Durham, therefore that's why he mentioned Duke. Santoyo, so how did you get to this point? Did you have any interesting music related jobs before you ended up becoming a composer full time? I mean, did you play with any interesting people or anything like that?
In the 90s, I was in this boy band, and then in a rock band and in a big nightclub, the most famous one in Mexico City. It was called Boda Cafe, and then we jammed with bands like Guns N' Roses and Poison. And,
oh my!
it was like really fun. But I did study. I obtained a bachelor's degree in business administration first, and then eventually, and then I went to Berklee College of Music, and then I eventually obtained a master's degree in music theory and composition from the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I did that because, so when I was a kid, I started playing by ear. I just went to the piano, and somehow I started first with the violin.
Right.
But I was a very tiny kid. I was 5. And so the violin, I remember, was very painful. It hurt. It was like, it didn't sit right. It was very difficult. Right away, I started playing by ear. And I remember the teacher was like really happy. Like, because I was playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star by the second class. But I didn't care about that. All I cared was like, this is not flowing. It's hurting. I didn't feel comfortable. Then my mom bought a piano. And then when I saw the range and the piano, was like, because for me it's like a kingdom. And I was like, whoa, I can just take off there. And so I fell in love with it. And I also felt, I mentioned that I grew up listening to classical music. So in a certain way, my rock stars are Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, all of them, right? But like many others, because I mean, I admire many musicians, many people, because if it sounds good to me, sounds cool, I'm like, yeah, right. But I never wanted to play their music. I always had this inner calling to do my own thing, right? And so my first composition was something that went like, I was like, something like that.
How old were you when you wrote that?
I was like 8.
My. So you
Yeah,
were
so
do this.
So the thing is, where it came from, I mean, these things, that's how life is, right? I mean, why? I mean, I just, it's there. And most of in my 6 albums that I was mentioning, most of the music has come to me in literally in dreams after 3 a.m. It's always after 3 a.m. Very interesting. And so in the morning, sometimes I wake up at night and I go and like go to the piano and I'm half asleep, and then I'm like try to, record it or be there. And then other times it's just there. And then in the morning when I wake up, and then I just go to the piano, and then I just start building it based on
Right.
that.
Do you always have music playing in your head?
Oh yeah, I have to. So at night I have to watch out because if I play the piano or doing many times I won't sleep because it stays there and then it starts and then it won't let me sleep or it's very interesting. But yeah, I hear music all the time when I go out on the street or like any little thing. And then I'm building rhythms on top of. Maybe that's also the Mexico City upbringing. I mean, because it's Latino culture, there's a lot of rhythm going on, and you
Right.
know it from Puerto Rico. It's the greatest salsa in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, I'm always hearing everything, and then I put sounds together in the street. So I'm very sensitive to sound.
Do you have to have a peaceful space around you in order for there not to be chaos in your mind?
Yeah, if I'm gonna compose, focus time. Like yes, most definitely. I need solitude. I need, as composers, we always need to be. Sometimes, like even in life, we're walking. We need these moments because all the music is cooking inside somehow between the life experiences and somehow. And so we need these moments where people wouldn't know. Would think, well, you're not playing the piano or you're not doing. No, we are. It's just that it's cooking, and then we get to, and that moment when I'm going to my studio, my music studio, I'm in a bubble, and then at that, when I enter the bubble, I enter the zone, and when I enter that zone, then I stop using reason, not rationalizing. Then I listening, and when I'm listening, then it's almost like I'm it's a dictation. I'm just like it's following. I know I listen to what follows, and it's just and just it builds, it builds, it builds, it builds. So for me, I have to humbly say, I say with the utmost honesty and sincerity. It's like I always my pieces come, my beautiful what I consider I'd say, but these beautiful sounding pieces to me, and like I thank God, and I thank God for the piece. Thank you for the music, because most of these songs I don't remember how I composed them.
Really? So
Many of them.
do you have to like record them so that you don't forget?
So it's hard. I know it's hard to say. So I know how structurally, I know how they're built. I know, but once the piece flows and comes out and boom, 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 then like for example, this also perseverancia, perseverance from reflections, which is in this album. And then that came to me in a dream, that melody, and then right starts building. I believe a lot in a climax, building like birth, like we are born with these beautiful, the miracle of life, right? One of the names of my compositions and one of my elevation. That miracle, that where does that come from? It can only come from God. I mean, and then we grow, develops, and hopefully we reach a climax, right?
Mhm.
And then and then the wind takes it, and then. So for me, that's in music. I'm telling the story. Every song is a story, and it's and what I'm looking for is to start like that. Like I started here, and this starts building, right? So then that turns into later on. And then develop, and that turns into. and so on and so forth. So
That was
there's that.
beautiful.
Thank you. There's that flowing and that storytelling. It's like, and what I've been told a lot by people, which honors me, because is that people listen to that since there are no lyrics and no specific, then people can imagine their own story. You were listening to this right now, and you can feel and imagine. It can take you to the memories you want, whatever you want based on the music. So my music is playing the music to your film. My music is playing the music to the film of every listener. And
Right.
and for me that's a trip, because life is a movie. And when I give concerts, and I just tell people anytime, just close your eyes and just, it's not about looking at me, the art. I'm service. I'm the service of the music and the sound that's coming from God.
You're the vessel.
Yeah, and it's about creating that moment, that space, that hour, concert 2 hour, where we all suspiramos, no? We can and we can and just feel, and like, yeah, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna, right? Because again, it's creating that harmony. If I hopefully can create that harmony, then at that moment we feel peace. And if we feel peace, then we know that everything's going to be okay.
So now that you've played a little bit of Reflection, and you have 5 other albums, where can people buy it, listen to it,
So, yeah.
breathe,
So,
heal with it?
yeah, definitely. So my music is, my albums are in alejandrosantoyo.com, alejandrosantoyo.com. It's my website. And obviously, my music is in all digital platforms, media outlets. If people can buy it, download it, and so that supports the artist, right? Because at the end of the day, what we want, artists, our biggest dream is to be able to share our music with the world. That's what we want. And I love listening to people's feelings and what they, when they share with me and they share with the people what my music did to them, what they felt, their experiences. It's like the biggest thing for me, because it's a movie, right? And it's like, if you tell me right now, so you heard that right now, what did you think? What did you feel? You heard a few seconds. I didn't play the full piece.
Well, I was walking along, and then all of a sudden I came across like a door that was playing lively music, and then I stopped to reminisce, and I kept walking.
See, I love that. I love that. You share that with me, and it's like, okay, right? That's the idea. That's what motivates me in my music, and to be able to share. I write music to connect with people, to elevate. When I'm playing something, whatever it is, right? Like, right? This one's called Horizon, also in Reflection. This one, I see us all like in a Hollywood movie. We're all like triumphant. We're like building. We're going to get out of this COVID. We're going to, right? And then we're walking together. Like, imagine all human beings on Earth. Finally, we get it, that we're all brothers and sisters. We all have the basic human needs of wanting to be loved and everything, right? So we just need to get over and then just come together and work together and save the planet and save. And so here we're. So on and so forth. Horizon.
That was beautiful. And I could see it. I could see the, how you brought it at the beginning. It was like, come on, let's try. And then you at the end, you're all together. I can see it.
Yeah, that's the idea. So if you listen to, I mean, I really invite people to look for my music and listen to it because it has that honest, loving intention, right? It really is. It's a message. I believe that arts and music, as an idealist, are going to save the world. Or part of it, are going to save the world. Because without it, it's like a lime or lemon that has no juice, and you take culture away, you take arts and loving music away from the world, and what it would be like, dried fruit. That's how I see it.
You're right.
So,
you're absolutely right. So for the next endeavor, what do you have cooking up? Do you have a new album? Do you have a new virtual concert or anything coming up?
Well, I'm hoping that I have a feeling and I have this faith that definitely 2021 is going to be a way better year, a good year for all of us. So I'm hoping this gets out and as I can give more concerts, even if we all have to have initially masks, and this doesn't matter, but still be able to get together, right? Which is already starting to happen. And I think with the vaccine and working and so we'll get there. So yeah, I want to give concerts. I think I'm going to be writing for music for PBS this year also. I've already done that before for this series called Fiesta Quinceañera. This is
from Rodrigo Dorfman, yes.
Rodrigo Dorfman, which is a wonderful, wonderful documentary series. And so I'm going to do that again for another new project this year. And then I'm working on my 7th album. I composed a big cello piano sonata, a serious piece. And it was presented in March in Mexico City, in a historic place, where Hernán Cortés, who discovered Mexico City, one of the conquistadores, where he's buried, right? So it was there very... And my great-grandfather, Manuel Gamio, was like a huge anthropologist in Mexico. He discovered the pyramids of Teotihuacan. Well, he began the excavation. It was like this big thing. So there's like this relationship. So it was very symbolic to give that concert there in March. It was March of last year, 2020. And it was kind of one of maybe it was even the last concert in Mexico City before it. Like next day, this was like March 11th, I think it was. And then it was a Saturday. And then Sunday, I spent the rest day in Mexico City. And then Monday, I flew back. And then everything closed down. Like everything was like shut down. And so it's like the cellist, she plays in the National Symphony Orchestra in Mexico City. And they had already canceled everything in the National Symphony Orchestra. So she was like completely... So she didn't even know if my concert was going to go. She was like, are we still... So I called and somehow miraculously, like they kept my concert.
Wow.
And so it was a very special, it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And then I had several other concerts programmed after that, but that pandemic hit. But thanks to that, reflections came.
Yeah.
So I would have been so busy, I would have not come out with this album, Reflections, which is, like I said, it's been very well received and it's a wonderful, it's very round. It's just this very, like a jewel. Some people have told me, oh, that's your best album. But yeah. Some people, I mean, every album has this favorites. People think that's their favorite, but it's a very special one, and it came out. thanks to this introspection that was forced to get into, and this, because I lost concerts, I lost piano students stopped coming. I teach a little bit, yeah, and that was closed. Durham Arts Council is an arts conservative that was closed down. Like everything changed, right?
Right.
So then music came out, and I was just forced to. So out of a bad thing, good things come.
Yeah. Now, do any of the songs reflect the frustration that we are also feeling? I know they're mostly healing, but any of them angry?
No, that's a good question. No, no. The thing is, maybe it's my natural personality has always been afraid of depression.
Mm.
Since I was a kid, for whatever that's worth. So what I do is like I hold on to the simplest of things to get happy. So if you bring me right now like a chocolate donut, like that's gonna make me so happy. It's like little things like that, right? So I'm looking for these things because I guess I'm trying to swim away from depression, from darkness. I don't like darkness. I love light. I'm attracted to light. For me,
Gotcha.
right? So my music and all this feeling, which was many times awful, and we all went through it last year through in different ways, right? And there's been so much pain and suffering, and it's like I just pray for. I mean, it's just so overwhelming, right?
Right.
Me and my own crisis, whatever. I was like, so then I was looking for those chocolate donuts, which in music, right? I was looking for things. How can I make sense of what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So then the music came out like that. Yeah.
Well, this has been great, Alejandro. You are amazing. You're a beautiful composer. Um, can you close us out with one of your favorite compositions from Reflections? Well, everybody, that was Alejandro Santoyo. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí conmigo en compARTE Happy Hour de Diamante Arts and Cultural Center.
Muchísimas gracias a ti, Lizette. Un honor, un placer. Dios los bendiga. God bless everybody. We're going to be okay. Take care of each other. That's very important. Take care of yourselves. And let's come together. Let's not doubt. We're all one. We're all the same race. All we need to do is be kind to each other, be gentle with each other, and respect each other. That's it. And we're good.
Lovely message. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Join me again next month for another episode of compARTE Happy Hour.